Instead of using Donald Trump's support for $2,000 direct checks to Americans as part of the coronavirus relief bill as leverage to negotiate with GOP lawmakers, Amy Klobuchar, a Democrat, is actually going in the opposite direction. She is making the essentially the winning argument from Donald Trump something terrible, and she herself is terrible because she's not willing to fight for the American people based on the statements that she says in this upcoming video we're gonna show you, making her the perfect candidate for today's dumb and the feckless.
One of my prayers is that the Republicans will take back their party.
Things keep dripping out, drip, 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 and the truth comes out.
So while speaking to Rachel Maddow on MSNBC, Senator Amy Klobuchar, again, let me just say, a Democrat, called Trump's widely popular proposal to provide 2,000 direct checks to Americans during this economic crisis an attack on Americans. I don't know, maybe she has a good point. Let's hear what she has to say.
This is an attack on every American. People who are struggling to get by right now, out of work, the unemployment is going to basically end the day after Christmas if this doesn't pass. People who are out of work, for him to turn this down, obviously we have the votes to override his veto in the houses. We have those votes. But he should not be doing this right now when his own Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, was involved in the negotiations from beginning to end. He is literally trying to burn this country down on his way out.
What is she doing? Like, what are you doing? You want to do something that's incredibly popular. You want to do something that's going to provide more relief to Americans who are suffering during this pandemic. And guess what? That is an attack, and I am threatening to veto it? What? Oh my God. I mean, she just sucks. She sucks. There's no other way to put it.
Let me try some other ways. So let's see if any of these are reasonable explanations. So one would be, look, I don't know exactly where we come out on how genuine we think Trump is being or how much we think he actually cares. Is it possible that she thinks that he is so not being genuine and so doesn't actually care about this, that it's actually not an opportunity, that he's going to undercut it, he's gonna behind the scenes reassure the Republicans that he's not actually going to veto a bill that doesn't have it, that he's just doing it to generate a couple of days of good press for the Senate races or whatever? Is it possible that she's reading his psychology so well that she knows that this is just a trap and we should avoid it?
I mean, I saw the way she campaigned in the Democratic primary. I don't think she's very good at reading psychology or reading anything, including a room that she's in. Amy Klobuchar was given a giant gift by Donald Trump. Whether we believe him or not, honestly, it doesn't really matter for the purposes of these negotiations, okay? All you need is a soundbite. All you need is the Washington Post article indicating that he was in the White House formalizing his request for $2,000 checks to Americans until White House staff intervened and prevented him from doing it. Use that information as leverage in these negotiations, right? You gotta at least try, because the $600 checks were so insulting. And again, this is like, Trump is like, here you go, it's a gift. I'm giving you a gift. And Amy Klobuchar is like, no, we have enough votes to veto that. Okay, What is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? This is not it's embarrassing, honestly. It's incredibly embarrassing. And I can't believe she thought it was a good idea to sit there and make this argument. Now, do I think that Donald Trump ever does anything out of the kindness of his own heart? No, I don't. On the same day that he released that video, he also pardoned 4 war criminals, people who had been convicted of murder because they opened fire and used grenades against Iraqi civilians, including one 9-year-old boy who was shot in the head. So Donald Trump pardoned those people. Donald Trump is not a good person. He doesn't do things out of the kindness of his own heart. He does things out of self-interest. So what is the self-interest here? Donald Trump is super salty that Mitch McConnell isn't going along with his lies about widespread voter fraud. He's been attacking Mitch McConnell, pretty regularly over the past week. So he's probably doing this to put Mitch McConnell in a tough spot. Let him fight. Take advantage of that. What are you doing, Amy Klobuchar? And it just gives you a sense of how dumb and feckless some Democrats can be.
Yep. Yeah, I think, the only explanation I can come up with that would justify concern about restarting the negotiations, but I would say that even that can't survive the fact that this would be such a bigger check going to people, might be if it's just about the timing. If it's enhanced unemployment is about to lapse and getting it restarted, even if it's included in a bill that eventually gets passed in a week or whatever, would kick people out of the system. They'd have to sign back up. That could mean a month or two wait for millions of people. Like if you're really concerned about that, or if you think that the government being shut down even temporarily would cause too much chaos during a pandemic, maybe that could be an argument as to why we need to really expedite this thing. But to have your initial reaction not just be so out of line with the best interests of your constituents, but it wasn't just like she got the breaking news and had to respond without getting what the party was gonna do. The party had already come out against her at that point. So she's against both the constituents and the party line. I don't know what position she's actually representing there.
It does remind me of how she campaigned during the primary, because she kept referring to herself as a progressive, which was laughable. But then she would also just unapologetically tell voters like, I will do nothing for you. Like she's just kind of unapologetic about things like that. So I don't know if that's the mindset behind the statements that she made while speaking to Rachel Maddow. I don't really care. I just think that, first of all, the point that you made is fantastic. I mean, at that point, you have tweet after tweet, public statements from your own party indicating that they want to include the $2,000 checks. So did you not see that? Did you not consult with anybody? Why did you think it was a good idea to go on this show and go against something that, again, is wildly popular among voters across the board? But this kind of mindset, by the way, isn't just shared by people like Amy Klobuchar, corporate Democrats, corporate Republicans, corporate politicians. It's also shared by members of the corporate media. And I just want to show you how Stephanie Ruhle from MSNBC reacted to this news. So we're just going to show you a statement that she made and then the framing of her questions when she was interviewing a panel on Donald Trump's statements demanding more direct relief to Americans. So let's take a quick look at that.
The big stimulus bill was a glimmer of hope, an important step for many people who are struggling. But last night, after Congress had already passed the bill and lawmakers went home for the holidays, President Trump threw a monkey wrench into the entire thing by saying he might not actually sign it. Here's what President Trump tweeted last night.
I'm asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple.
Sure, on the surface, more money might sound good, but it is not that easy. This bill is more than 5,500 pages long. It took 8 months to pull it together. And while the president had all of that time to get involved in the negotiations, he never did. Why would he refuse to sign this bill? What I don't get is, what part of his constituency, who does this serve? Who's watching this going, right on, man?
What do you mean, who does this serve? And who's watching this and thinking, right on, man? What are you talking about? The $600 direct checks to Americans who they have not received financial relief since March. That was the last time, that was when the CARES Act passed. They love the fact that the president is demanding more. How do you not? Well, she doesn't understand that because she was a Wall Street, goon before she decided to be an anchor on MSNBC. And she was, a killer with hedge funds and things like that. And so, yeah, she comes from a different world and she doesn't understand. She doesn't care to understand. $600 is a joke. And the amount of money that was appropriated for nonsense in that bill was incredibly insulting. But I guess she just doesn't get that.
Yeah, I have no idea if this is her position. I'm playing devil's advocate today. I'm trying out for a job with the Vatican eventually, and so let me demonstrate my credentials. If she was just saying the timing of it, like who does it serve that you jump in at this point? I think that would be a good argument because he apparently, so insofar as he is able of maintaining a consistent position on something, he at least for a week or two appears to have maintained the position that we should have $2,000 checks or at least bigger checks. And all the while, Mnuchin is on hundreds of phone calls organizing all this. Mitch McConnell's at all these meetings. They're having all of them come back. They met with Donald Trump during this time, and conceivably they have phones and can DM him. Like, he could have gotten involved earlier. I think that is a perfectly fine point. He could have been much more clear. Even if he doesn't want to literally sit in the negotiations, which I would argue he should considering the stakes, he could have made these public statements before it's literally time to pass it.
I get that. And that is a fair criticism of Donald Trump. Nonetheless, we're now in a position where, again, we can use the desires of a president who has a rapidly loyal, base, and wants to do everything he wants to do. Like, he's demanding more. Again, use that to your advantage. And the point that I just want to make about Stephanie Ruhle is she's just so disconnected from the discourse, like so disconnected from what Americans need and want right now, that she's like perplexed. She's like, who would want this? Who thinks this is a good idea? No, this is great. This is great. I get it. It's super frustrating that this is happening in the last minute, but we're now in a position where we can leverage what he's saying to get more relief to Americans who desperately need it. End of story. Yeah. So, and bless you for playing devil's advocate, because I think it's important to raise some of these questions. But I don't give people like Stephanie Ruhle the benefit of the doubt, especially considering the way she handles certain interviews with progressives like Bernie Sanders. She despises the idea of paying more in taxes. She despises the idea of wealth redistribution. And so that's who she is. And so I guess I shouldn't be surprised that she would have a segment like that following Donald Trump's demands for more relief to Americans.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.